Hey, well, good morning, everybody. Man, this is Coach RJ. I am the CEO and founder of the Impact You movement. And our whole goal, our whole objective, our whole aim, our whole mission is to educate, to encourage, and to empower people with the tools necessary so that they can live out the best version of themselves. Man, I am so fired up for several reasons. Number one, man, I say it all the time. I was able to wake up this morning, didn't have a white chalk outline around my body. So that's always a good reason to be excited. But two, I'm excited because it's Wednesday. And every time Wednesday rolls around, there's a little extra pep in my step. There's a little bit of an extra smile on my face, simply because there's an opportunity for me to hop on live and do what I like to call a moment of impact. And we do it every Wednesday between 8 and 8:15 Eastern Standard Time as a way to help you not necessarily forget about what happened the beginning part of this week, but really in an effort to help you have an explosive end to the remaining portion of your week. So I get a little bit excited because I get to come on and share a few nuggets with you guys every Wednesday, again, between 8 and 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. Man, listen, I was listening to the radio this morning, and I was listening to Ricky Smiley morning show, and they were talking about Chrissy Teigen. May or may not know who she is, but she's married to John Legend, who has arguably one of the most recognizable voices in R&B, like all time. Like his voice, you just know his voice just because of the way he sounds. And so I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about Chrissy Teigen, and maybe 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, she was caught up in this kind of cyberbullying situation where she had bullied some people through, tweeting and, different things she had said and done. And so it was shed, some light was shed on it here over the last maybe, 12 to 18 months. And as a result, she's caught a lot of backlash. A lot of her endorsement deals are gone. I think she had like pots and pans, that she created. They pulled them off the shelves. Just a lot of stuff. And she's gone on since then to apologize. She seemed very remorseful, for the things that she said. Has asked, those that have accused her of doing it to forgive her. So she's kind of done everything in her power to reconcile with those people. Well, her husband, John Legend, people have been coming for her. And so John Legend, really in the best way he knew how to do it, he was being interviewed the other day. And somebody asked him just really point blank about, her bullying people and, how, like what is life like now, that, light has been shed on it. And he said something that grabbed my attention, and I really want to use it as a launching pad for our time together this morning, rather. He said these words. He says, "We are all more than our worst moments." Let me say that again. He said, "We are all more than our launching pad." And here's why. Because I've really been on kind of a never-ending tour, if you will, of teaching and preaching and really trying to educate people and coach people around that thought. Because far too many people are allowing their lives to be defined by a moment or a series of moments in which they failed. Yeah, far too many people are allowing their lives to be defined by a moment or moments in which they have failed. And as a result, they see themselves as a failure because of what they did. I want to park here for just a moment, because this is really what I've been trying to coach and educate people on and teach and preach and really try to challenge people on. Again, people, because of a moment or moments in their life in which they failed, they have allowed their lives to be defined by that moment or those that series of moments. And it blows my mind. So not only do they allow their lives to be defined by it, but then they allow other people to define their lives by the moment or the series of moments. In other words, there is a difference, and I'm not going to be on long this morning, but there is a difference between these two statements. Listen to me carefully. One statement says, I failed at something. The other statement says, I am a failure. There's a difference between I failed at something and I am a failure. And until you see the difference between those two statements, you will constantly be defined by what you've done. Until you see the difference between I failed at something and I am a failure, you'll constantly be defined by what you've done. So then tell me, Coach RJ, what is the difference? In the words of my elder brother, I'm glad you asked. You asked so many good questions. Here's the difference. I failed at something simply describes what you've done. I am a failure defines who you are. Let that sit in for a moment. There's a difference between I failed and I am a failure. I failed describes what I did. It is the act. It describes the act or the action. But I am a failure defines who I am. It defines the actor. Let me see if I can break it down a little bit clearer for you. So I have been blessed to be the father. And since Father's Day is coming up, this is a great moment to kind of interject this here. I've been blessed to have 5 children: Jayla, Carson, Raven, Reese, and Rachel. I have 5 exceptional children. There have been moments where I have had parental failures, or better yet, I have failed in a parenting moment. I have failed parenting Jayla the proper way in a moment. I failed to parent Raven in the moment a proper way. That describes what I did or didn't do. But just because I failed in a moment of parenting does not make me a failure as a parent. Just because I failed in a parenting moment doesn't make me a failure as a parent. Even in my jobs, even in sales, I have failed to close a deal. I was talking to a guy the other day, had him on, thought I was giving it real to him, and I didn't close it. He walked away. I failed to close the deal, but it doesn't make me a failure as a sales professional. And I don't know who I'm talking to this morning. I don't know who's listening to me or who will catch this replay, but I want to make sure I encourage you. I want to challenge you from this day forward. Stop letting your worst moments define the rest of your life. It was a moment, or it was a series of moments. Truth be told, all of us have moments where we're not at our best. All of us have moments where we say things we shouldn't say. We have a moment or moments where we do things we shouldn't do. We have a moment or moments when we go places we shouldn't go. Those are moments, but you've got to make up it. Let me calm down. But it just fires me up Because if you can't get beyond the moment, if you can't get beyond the series of moments and you allow those things to define you for the rest of your life, you'll never be able to do everything that you're called to do, be everything that you're called to be, and have everything that you're called to have. Why? Because instead of allowing the moment or the series of moments to describe what you've done, you've allowed those things to define who you are. And it blows my mind. Blows my mind. Destiny is awaiting you, but you'll never get there. And listen, here's something, and I got to wrap up. Because if you keep allowing those things to define your life, then it will prevent you from having quality interactions with other people. It'll prevent you from having quality connections and authentic conversations with others. Why? Because you've got this jacked up perspective of your life. Oh, and by the way, let me help you understand something. Stop allowing other people to define you by your worst moment. Really, that's another whole video in and of itself. But let me just drop this nugget. Stop allowing other people to define you by a moment or your worst moments in your life. Nah, bruh. I'm sorry that you can miss me with that. Why? Because what I did, it's what I did. And I want to end by saying this. Just because you did it doesn't make you the it that you've done. Just because you did it doesn't make you the it that you've done. Because there's a difference between I failed and I am a failure. I failed describes what I did. I am a failure defines who I am. It's the Impact You movement. It's motivating people and challenging them unequivocally. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have an impactful day. And I'll see you all next time. Take care.